my topic is Direct Rumors Roundup. There was some speculation this week that a Direct may be dropping. That doesn't seem to be the case. However, some people still speculate that this might be landing by the end of the month. We have Nash Weedle, 3 sources for this week, 2 sources for the last week of the month, and 2 that don't know. Included in these rumors are rumors of themes coming to Switch 2. But they will be down to line possibly even a couple years out, which would be a bummer if true. Also says the next wave of Switch 2 editions is coming, including Pikmin 4. So the big questions for the panel today is, do we believe Nash Weedle at all? Why or why not? What do we think is happening with Directs and these other various things that he's been talking about? Let's start with Thundersash. I feel like Thundersash never kicks it off. So let's start with the Thunder.
Okay. I'll go first. All right. So the first part of Nash Weedle was about what the Nintendo Direct. So 3 sources for this week. Yeah, 2 for last week. Look,
2 for the last of the month.
You know, I follow Nash Weedle, and I do truly believe Nash Weedle has inside info. I always have. And at the same time, I truly believe that we need to have a Direct, and we've said this over and over again. All of us have here on this channel. There's a lot of third-party games that need to be announced. If you look at the release calendar, it's very empty. And a lot of the Switch 2 games, even from Nintendo, are also Switch 1 games. You know, Pokemon, Metroid Prime. We're going to be getting Mario Party Jamboree TV here in, 2 weeks about? I think July 24th. But again, that's a Switch 1 title. We're going to be getting Kirby in August. Again, Switch 1 title. So, yeah. Even though there's some Nintendo games on the calendar, these are not like new games or games exclusive to Switch 2. So, yeah, we need to fill out that calendar. Third parties need to announce games, and I don't think we're going to just continue to have trickle announcements like we've been getting, like with WWE and, of course, NBA. You know, they kind of have to get those things announced because they were announced for all the other platforms as well. So I do still think we get a Direct here in July. Whether it's going to be, you know, next week, the week after DK, I don't know. I really don't think about it. I want everyone to know that. I don't think about it. I personally think it's more fun to not think about it and enjoy the present, enjoy the day. There's plenty of things to be happy about. There's plenty of things to enjoy right now. And that way, when it does get announced, it's genuinely a surprise and you're really excited because you weren't thinking about it. So that's where I'm at with the Directs. That's really where I've always been. As far as the next wave of Switch 2 editions. So again, been saying it for a very long time, but I do fully expect Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. After playing with the mouse Joy-Con, there's no better way. It's the extension of the Wiimote. It's the evolution. It's the best way to play Metroid Prime. So I fully expect 1 through 3 to get Switch 2 editions. I said it in GameBird's collaboration video that you just did. I do think there's a very good chance that we're going to get Super Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition. The game didn't get DLC. This is a perfect opportunity to drop DLC with a Switch 2 edition. Smash Brothers, I've been saying it for several months. Same thing. I think we get a Switch 2 edition. Whether it's going to be a free update or a paid, I don't know. Again, schematics, I'm not really thinking about that. I just think that the new Smash is probably a ways off, and that obviously you want to feed that fan base. And it's a great way to do it, right? Smash Ultimate, it lived up to the name, right? It is the ultimate. I don't know if they'll add anything else to it. We'll see. But either way, I think we're going to get a Switch 2 edition. When I say add anything else, I mean like new characters, right? New fighters, new stages, maybe. I think you can bank on things like the resolution boost, right? And the frame rate. Pikmin, to me, makes 100 total complete sense because of mouse mode. That's going to be the best way to play Pikmin. So naturally, yeah, it should get a Switch 2 edition. And again, I think Pikmin 1 through 3 will get a Switch 2 edition. I think this is going to be ways that Nintendo fills out the calendar. Just like with Metroid, that's the best way to play. And I think with Pikmin, it's going to be no different. So yeah, I think we're going to get tons of Switch 2 editions. Again, this is a great way to fill out the calendar throughout the year and going into next year, and probably going into the following year. I think this is going to be something Nintendo does for a while. Xenoblade Chronicles X. We already know there's a 60 FPS mode. Thousand Year Door. We know there's 4K in the code. These are all things that I expect to happen. And I don't think they just do Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think we get 1 through 3 as well. Why would you just do one of them? There's no reason why you do that. It's just like Prime 4. Why would Prime 4 be the only Metroid Prime that has the mouse Joy-Con controls? It would be just like Pikmin 4. Why would you only give mouse Joy-Con controls to Pikmin 4? If you can give the previous 3 games a resolution boost, frame rate boost, and add mouse Joy-Con mode and resell them. Easy money. Easy money, guys. So yeah, all of this stuff is stuff that, one, I have talked about, 2, we have talked about. And so everything Nash Weedle is saying is something that we've all already been saying. So why would I not believe it? I believe it. I don't just spew bullshit. Anything I say on here, I truly think is very logical and is I'd like to believe it's well thought out. I don't just throw things at the wall. I think about them in detail. And so, yeah, to me, all of this makes a ton of sense, guys. That's where I'm at.
Hell yeah, man. A lot of good points in there. I guess I'll give my opinions at the end. So let's jump on over to Eric.
Yeah. I'm kind of starting to feel about this direct like I was about the Nintendo Switch 2. I need it. I want to see new games. I want to see what the future has in store for us. I mean, I like what we have right now, but I want to see what's coming. I mean, I got a couple games I got to play here, but I like watching directs too. That's always fun, just to see reactions and stuff like that of people. Man, this trick sucked. This trick was awesome. It's probably just because the reason why it sucked is because it just showed no games that you want to play. That doesn't mean the games aren't going to be good. It's not your cup of tea for the type of games that we're showing. It happens. That doesn't mean the direct was shit. Shit for you, but whatever. I just want it. That's where I'm at with this thing. This thing needs to just come because
I want it and I want it now.
Exactly.
There you go.
My Switch and I need it now. Wait
a second.
Primal. What are your thoughts?
All right, there's a lot to unpack here. Obviously, there's no direct this week.
Yeah.
So whatever those 3 sources are wrong. They can fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have no idea who his sources are. I have no idea if Nash Weedle has real sources. People like to point out all the stuff that he was wrong about years ago, and that's cool. He definitely was wrong about a lot of stuff, and lately this year he's been right about a lot of stuff. So I don't know. I never really know where to classify Nash Weedle in the world of insiders. He's definitely not like a Nate the Hate level insider, but I don't really put him quite yet at like the Samus Hunter where it's just all made up bullshit insider. So that's like, yeah, Samus Hunter. Where's my button?
Here she comes to wreck the day.
So I think that the jury's still out for Nash Weedle for me. He's had enough right lately that I'm kind of paying attention, and obviously I put his stuff out there, but it is just rumors. The big thing for me for this month when it comes to a direct is nothing to do with Nash Weedle. It has to do with beat 'em ups. He's the one that said it's this month. He's the one that never says that. He never puts himself out there like that. He's never done it before. And he's a really big YouTuber. So he doesn't need clout chasing. He doesn't need more views. He said it on the Nintendo podcast, which is already like the number one Nintendo podcast in the world. So there's no reason
so far.
There's no reason
So
to not want to drive, to try to get more attention is what I'm trying to say. He's super successful. He owns his house. He's got it made. He gets to do what he loves for a living and live a really good life. Money's not really the biggest object for him, like it is for others. So I think he's in a situation where he can do whatever he wants because he wants to, and because of that, I don't think that he has a reason to lie. So that doesn't mean that his sources are correct. Of course, he even said, "Hey, this doesn't mean it's happening, but just like it's a guarantee that when I run out of Airheads, Stash is going to start eating Airheads again." Is what it is. Literally, we were eating them for weeks. Mm-hmm. Stash had none, and now we're out, and Stash is pounding it down. Mm-hmm. See, there's just some things in life I can't predict. That said, I think a direct can still happen this month. I think a direct. The reason that it feels, setting aside any rumors, like it feels like we need a direct. There's so many games that we don't have release dates for that are announced, third party and first party. That's really like the biggest sign that we need a direct. Yeah, Nintendo can keep doing things like Dragon Drive release date dropped on Nintendo today. That's fine. If they want to keep trickling out one game at a time every month, like, when we get to next month and we're getting close to Dragon Drive coming out, they drop a release date for something in September. Sure, that's their prerogative. They can keep doing that. But the bottom line is that gamers like to have roadmaps.
Sure.
Because I don't know about on this show, but most gamers are not going to buy every game Nintendo releases. They're not interested in all of them. There's people that watch my channel right now have zero interest in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Cool. They just want to know when the next 3D Mario is. Cool. Well, we don't know. And that's okay that we don't. But they want to know dates for other things. Like, I'm not excited for this, but I am excited for Metro Prime 4. When are we going to know? I don't know. When are we going to know? Like, we're in July. It's going to be August. There's going to be 4 months left in the year. Like, why don't we have release dates for all these months? So, like, that's one thing that makes you feel like, okay, Nintendo's games, there's so many we need release dates for. Heck, even seeing something like more of Kirby Air Riders. That's a 2025 game. We still haven't actually seen the game itself. We just saw a little cutscene thing. So, when are we going to see the game? So, a lot of that stuff is like, yeah, okay, Nintendo can keep doing individual game directs. They can keep doing it through Nintendo Today. But it's not nearly as exciting as an event where you get a bunch of stuff at once. Then third parties. Obviously, NBA 2K gave us a date. Madden, that was announced at the direct. They gave us a date for their stuff. But there's just so many we don't know. And that's forgetting wanting new game announcements. There's just a lot that they've already said is coming that we don't know. Like I know one that Digital Foundry keeps talking about that they want to check out in particular is Star Wars Outlaws. That was announced in the direct.
And we know that has a release date, right?
Yeah, I know it does.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Technically, yeah. But that was my point. Is like it's so random. Like you really have to be watching channels like me, or really be paying attention to like Go Nintendo or Nintendo Everything, or just follow the right accounts on X Stealth or something. Because if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very like for all I know, I wasn't around today. Maybe Borderlands 4 got a release date for Switch 2 today. I have no idea. Maybe. There was no warning to me that a release date was going to come. At least when a direct is coming, I expect release dates in the direct. So like I know, okay, I can set that time aside. Even if I can't stream it, I can at least pay attention to it. And not just because we're going to talk about it on the show, but just because I want to see the release dates for stuff. So there's just a lot of stuff we need release dates for. There's a lot of stuff that I'll say even this, we just need new announcements. Like how you keep hype going. And I know, appreciate what we have, appreciate what's already announced. I do agree. Sometimes too often we're always too forward looking, right? Not appreciate what Stash was talking about that earlier. Like, hey, appreciate what's already here. But I also have a news channel, which means I'm all about what's to come. The channel is that way because that's what I'm about. I don't replay games. If I have a game like Hogwarts Legacy, haven't beat it yet, I'm going to beat it. But that doesn't really matter. Like, that's not exciting for the future. It's what I already have. And I love what I already have. And I've got plenty to play. That's why I said, yeah, nothing new released last month. So, or haven't had any new release since like Switch 2 came out. It's kind of a bummer. It's a bummer because I already have games to play, but I don't know what to be excited for beyond Bonanza right now. Besides just hoping that like Kirby Air Riders is going to come out this year, hoping, that that I'm not. I don't even remember right now the exact release date of the Outlaws, and if I'm going to pick it up because I actually want to compare it because I have it on Xbox.
September 4th.
Yeah, I knew it was like September 4th or 5th, but I was just like, am I going to remember when that comes out, or is it going to be like the day of launch? I'll be like, oh shit. Okay, do I want to pick this up now so I can compare it to my Xbox version? Because Yulia's been playing Outlaws on Xbox. So I'm like, hey, I didn't realize you were going to like this game. You're not really into Star Wars. Oh, it's a Star Wars game? I didn't even know. To be fair, every time like any text comes up in the game, she's like, skip. I don't want to read any shit. I just want to get back to the gameplay. I'm like, all right, cool. So I guess she enjoys the
kids do that. It infuriates me.
Oh, dude, it annoys me. It's like a Star Wars guy. But hey, wait, I haven't seen this yet. Oh, okay, never mind. Just skip through all this. Dude, do you know who that is? Do you know? No, I don't give a fuck. Okay.
Any game that's narratively driven, skipping cutscenes or like skipping through dialogue is like nails on it. Like it just makes me so uncomfortable.
Now, to be fair,
I'm like, you're ruining this whole. Why are you even playing?
Ubisoft games make it easy to just care about the gameplay because you could like skip, and then there's just an indicator telling you where to go.
Sure.
So you can just like it's really easy to not have to pay attention to the story, so just get to where you need to be.
Sure.
But I'm glad she enjoys the gameplay too because it's a very different kind of gameplay loop than she's used to playing. But it's still kind of like, okay, do you ever care about story? Like, honey, this is to me like you're reading a book. And you decide, I'm just going to look for the image that's at the beginning of each chapter and not actually read anything in between.
Yeah.
I've actually put down games that I enjoy playing because the story upsets me or is not good. So like story's a big one. If it's a game that's designed to be narratively driven, obviously I'm not worried about story when I play Mario. But yeah, like it even games where I've had like, oh, this is pretty, the combat's really good in this game, but if the story is ass and that's like kind of the focal point, I'll be like, this game's not for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
I pay attention to the story when I play. Like, I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy. She's like, why are you like paying so intently close attention to the story details and like the voice acting that's going on? I'm like, dude, I'm a Potterhead, honey. What are you fucking talking about? I need this. This is like my addiction to Harry Potter. Get out of here. Like, same reason I'm going to watch the HBO series. I don't know if the castings are good. I'm going to watch it and see what happens because I like Harry Potter. And I just hope it's good.
I've got a funny one. I just got to tell the story real quick. Really short. Way back when one of my favorite series growing up used to be the Metal Gear Solid series. Since on the PS1, my favorite Metal Gear game of all time is Metal Gear Solid 3. I think it's the best one in the series personally. I love the story, the dynamic between Big Boss and Boss. Anyways, if you guys have played those games, you know the cutscenes are frequent and long. Sometimes they're like 20-minute cutscenes, and you cannot in the original Snake Eater, you could not pause the cutscenes. It wasn't possible on PS2. And I remember I had to go to the bathroom so bad that I was panicking. And I don't think my game had been saved for a long time, that I made the choice. Obviously, I love the story so much, to just turn off the console and be like, I'm starting the game over.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you made the choice to crap your pants.
That's what I was looking for.
I was gonna
That
give you
would've been-
props for that.
That would have been better. That would have been way better.
Oh my God.
I made the choice to just start the game over because I care about the story so much. Oh man, that's way better. Why didn't I just shit my pants, dude?
Yeah, dude.
I do have a funny story though. This one's better. This one will be more entertaining. But years ago, not video game related at all, but I feel like I have to tell a better story now because of what you just said. That just ruined my story just now. Way back when I was like 22, I had a group of friends ask me to meet with them at a bar, and so I show up. I was the last one there. I sat down at the bar next to my buddy, and he looked at me and said, "Your kind isn't welcome here." And so I got up, went to my car, and drove home. 40 minutes later, I get a text saying, "Did you actually leave?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "You know, we were joking, right?" And I said, "Yes, I just thought it would be funny if I actually left." And I never went back. I stayed in and played video games. I thought it was hilarious. They didn't find it that funny, but I thought it was hilarious.
I thought you left because you shit your pants. I was
No.
where you going right now. Like, hey, I have to leave too if that happened. Damn, I probably wouldn't come back either, just in case someone noticed. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying about the rumors. Yeah, so I hope there's a direct this month. We'll see what happens. Do I trust Nash Weedle? I mean, I don't, not as much as some other content creators do, but I do think that he's had enough correct that I pay attention. But I don't know. I've been covering rumors and stuff for so long on the channel for so many years. I've seen so many like people come and go in the space because they end up that they were just making it up or stealing it from more credible people or whatever. At least Nash Weedle, I'll give him this much. He's not hiding. He puts his face on the internet.
Yeah.
He answers questions. He's doing another interview with the Tap the Backlog. Like, he answers questions. He doesn't avoid things. So I got to give him credit. That's more than like pretty much anyone else does, which then makes you feel like he's willing to put his own reputation, like as a person, on the line. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that necessarily means that he's right or knows anything, but so I think that's interesting. That's definitely different. Not even Nate the Hate does that. He still keeps his identity completely hidden. He just has his voice out there. So you only know who he is if you actually know him in real life. That said, and that's assuming he's not using a voice changer. I have no idea. That said, I do wonder about some of the other stuff here. Like when you say themes are coming, but are potentially years away, it's like, okay, why? Why? There's already a theme menu. You could add colors anytime you want. It doesn't take long. So you can literally just add themes tomorrow. And then if you want to do image ones, well, how come people hack their switches and have a new theme made in 3 seconds? Like, I don't understand why it would be years away.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Like, and by the way, I don't give a shit about themes. Contrary to what the slide says.
Yeah,
Come
right.
in-
Yeah, and if you don't believe them, go back a few episodes.
I don't actually give a shit about themes, but I know a lot of people do. And I can recognize that. Like, not everything has to be catered to me. I already have what I want right now. If themes come out, probably wouldn't make any difference to me. Would I use them? Maybe. I don't know. It would have to be a theme that speaks to me. And then I realized, God, I'm only on the home menu for like fucking 2 seconds. Who cares? Kind of like my phone. Like, I got a new phone today because we changed companies I'm with. And guess what? It looks exactly the same as my old phone with the exact same images because that's all I did. I just transferred it. I ain't going to change this. Dude, I got my fucking hot ass wife on the front of my phone. I ain't changing that image till she gives me another hot ass photo to put on the front of my phone. That's just the way it is. I'm a simple man. I don't need a lot. So themes can fuck off. I'm cool. Dark gets me where I want to be. So I just feel like, themes being years away to me is almost like a red flag when someone says that. It's like, yeah, you're just giving yourself, you're saying something people really want, and then you're giving yourself years for it to come true. And then if it doesn't, you can come up with some excuse about, oh, they decided at some point in those years to not do it. And it's like, really? They had themes on 3DS. They had themes on Wii U. If they wanted themes, they'd be there. So like the theme one is actually a red flag to me, despite the fact that people clicked on this podcast to watch that, and 50,000 people clicked on a video because it had themes in the title and a theme in the thumbnail. I get it. That's the rumor. It's almost a red flag to me, rumor. This is the kind of rumor that makes me think of Zippo. Because Zippo would come out and say something that is like years away from happening. You know, like people were trying to give him credit for Mario and Luigi because he said it like 4 years ago. I'm like,
Wow.
what the fuck are we talking about? Like, you can't get credit for a rumor that you said 4 years ago. You said it was coming within the next 12 months, and then it arrives 4 years later. You clearly didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Because a new one eventually came out. That's like me saying, yeah, guys, guess what? Nintendo's making a new fucking 3D Zelda game. It'll be out sometime in the next decade. I'm now an insider, baby. Because I'm probably going to be right. And then if I'm wrong and it doesn't come out in the next decade, it'll probably be a couple of years after that, and I'll still get credit. This is what that rumor sounds like to me. I want it to be true for the people that want it, but I don't know why we'd have to wait years for it to happen. That just doesn't make sense to me. They already have point systems in place to spend platinum points and all this stuff. Right now, they took away gold points, and the main reason we wanted those fucking things on Switch too. Maybe, I guess, they could relaunch it with gold points and make it something you buy with gold points, I guess. But then you took that away before the system came out, so why you need extra years to kind of figure that out? I don't get that. Doesn't make sense. You already let us buy themes in a way. You let us buy icons and stuff. Why can't themes just be like that, where you can buy them like that if you want, or if you want it to be a microtransaction thing and we pay real money? Fine, do that. Or if you want to give them for free, do that. I just don't know what would be the big holdup for years to wait for themes. Especially when we've had 8 years of no themes on Switch, it just doesn't make sense to me. You've had plenty of time to sort this out if you wanted it. So, all this to say, it's actually a red flag to me that that's actually a rumor that came out of his mouth. Anything that's years away just sounds like bullshit. And by the way, someone's going to point out, well, the Ocarina of Time stuff. Yeah, you're right. The more I think about it, the more it might be bullshit. Now, an Ocarina of Time is something I think is happening because of Aonuma. Aonuma is the reason why I think something's happening with Ocarina of Time, because he's been teasing it. What if Nashville's just piggybacking off the Aonuma teases? You know what I mean? And that's what could be happening. So I'm starting to get like really skeptical. Like, yeah, he got some stuff right. But like I think like one of the recent things that people gave him a lot of credit for was in that direct that they would be featuring Donkey Kong but no Mario. It's like, okay, well, there was other people saying that on family boards before he said it, so I'm confused why he gets credit for it. So, yeah, it's a red flag to me. The other rumor that he put out there, what was it? What was that third one? It was about the Switch 2 editions.
Yeah.
Pikmin 4. Yeah. So Pikmin 4 Switch 2 edition just makes sense. It's a beloved game that we might not be seeing again for a few years with a fifth one. It's one that Miyamoto actually worked on. He worked on Pikmin 4, for those who don't know. It's the last game he actually worked on. I don't know if he's going to work on Pikmin 5 or if he's just fully handed it off now, but he had slight involvement in Pikmin 4. So it's interesting because I think it's going to be a while. So a Switch 2 edition could happen. I think a Switch 2 edition could happen for pretty much any of Nintendo's Switch 1 games. It'll be curious if they ever do one that got a free update and then they decide to give a Switch 2 edition anyways. That'd be wild. That'd be absolutely wild. But could it happen? Sure. So I kind of feel like the Switch 2 editions to me have replaced Wii U ports. Switch 2 editions are the new Wii U port. They give you a reason to rebuy something from the past. That's what Wii U ports were. That's what Switch 2 editions kind of are. Obviously with the ability to just to buy if you already own it, just buy the new part of it. So I do definitely think there's going to be a bunch of new ones. There was that thing today where Nintendo re-upped a bunch of trademarks in a whole bunch of different countries or something. A lot of those could relate to Switch 1 games and be Switch 2 editions. Or there could be nothing, because Nintendo re-ups trademarks all the time. But the reason people paid attention is because, well, they added Dragon Drive and all these other ones to it. I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Their legal team is what handles all that stuff, so I don't know if there's any real correlation. I've paid a lot of attention to that stuff in the past and reported on it, and then like nothing has happened so many times that I'm like, okay, well, did it really actually mean anything? Maybe internally at Nintendo it meant something, but I don't know. Externally, nothing really happened. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of, I think, leave it at that. I'm starting to have severe doubts about Nash Weedle. I've kind of had them there the whole time. I was kind of being cautious. That said, a direct this month, I point to beat 'em ups, and I have faith that he knows what he's talking about. When it's going to happen, I don't know. Some people say they can't do it the same week of Donkey Kong. Well, Donkey Kong had a new console released the last time a game came out in that series, or revealed back in January 16th. We remember it all as the reveal date of Switch 2. It also was the release date for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, the same day. Wild. So I'm not going to put it past Nintendo to say, "Oh, Bonanza's out today. That's cool. Here's the direct." Fucking wild. Everyone play Bonanza on your Switch 2 while you're watching the direct or something. I don't know. That'd be wild if they did that. But I'm not going to put that past them. We have a Pokemon Presents coming up. That's something we do know is happening. So that's gonna be a fun thing. I don't know if we're doing a bonus episode for that yet or not. That's gonna depend on if there's like enough in there to do a bonus episode. But we know ZA for sure is gonna be in there. And if nothing else, whether it's that day or the next week, ZA is gonna be a topic. It's gonna be something we need to talk about. But yeah, it's funny. Nashville said 3 sources this week, 2 sources for the last week of the month. This week and the last week of the month seem like the most likely weeks. Just conveniently, Bonanza's next week. Oh, the next week's Pokemon Present. So what are the weeks that were left? It was this week or the last week, right? Like, it kind of convenient. So I'm hoping there's a direct this month, and I'll just leave it at that as a hope. And I'm basing it more on beat 'em ups, saying that he knows that there's a direct this month, but he won't tell us how. I don't know. I know third-party devs. They haven't told me jack shit.
Maybe Nash Weedle told him.
Yo, can you imagine if that's what it was? That was
You never know.
Colluded with Nash Weedle. That'd be wild. That'd be absolutely wild.
I've got some thoughts on some of the stuff that you said, but Paul, I want to give you a chance before I give any of my thoughts to respond to this topic, because I think you stepped away right at the start. It's basically, Nash Weedle reporting that rumors are leaking that a direct is landing this month. Some people were saying it would be this week. That looks not to be the case. Some people are saying at the last week of the month. Do you think there's any truth to a direct happening this week? Do you believe it will happen? Why or why not? Additionally, he mentioned that themes are coming to Switch 2, but maybe not for a year to 2 years down the road. And lastly, he also mentioned that we should be expecting some new Switch 2 edition games like Pikmin 4. What are your thoughts on these three categories?
New Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games like Pikmin 4 makes sense to me. I mean,
Sure.
Pikmin is very important to Mr. Miyamoto and to Nintendo. They would like it to be a pillar more than I think people are accepting of it being a pillar, because the games are niche-ish. It's kind of weird to say a game is niche when it still is able to sell 1 million, 1.5, 3 million copies, but like, it's not of the Mario caliber of sales and stuff like that. But so I want to be clear, like, not niche, but they want it to be higher. They would love for it to be a 7 million consistent seller. And I think have a beautiful game, look that much prettier, and throw in some mouse controls and improved multiplayer and maybe a little bit more stuff. Like, it sounds relatively safe to think that that's accurate. So I believe it. Now, if one person is saying something that gels really well with what I think, and they're saying multiple things, it kind of makes me think that other thing might be accurate too, when it comes to like themes. I think that Nintendo didn't want to ruffle the feathers of their own operating system and keep it so simple, so basic. Don't make anything any slower on the Nintendo Switch. Everything is just operating right. That if we threw in too many colors and too much music, could you detract from this? Could we have to deal with this problem? Could it open up a door that a Trojan horse could come in and mess up the system, brick it, damage it? Let's just keep it as is. But with Nintendo Switch 2 having more horsepower than Nintendo Switch, less room for error in some regards of it crashing, I think it's just a matter of time before they do at it. Right now, let's solidify as just a gaming console. It's also sometimes less is more, or sometimes you appreciate the new as it gets added. Like if you had the ability to launch a Mario and a Zelda movie back to back, I don't think you would do it in April and in May. You would want several months in between because it keeps the hype cycle active. It keeps the talking around something often. Yes, they could have the Nintendo Switch 2 launch with the ability to have more backgrounds, but by making it something new, it's something new for people to talk about. It is something new for that social media post that day. It is something new for YouTubers, for folks across the industry to make a post on. Now, you could say, well, wouldn't you want that from the beginning? Yeah, but in the beginning, it would just be one more thing along with Fast Fusion, along with Mario Kart World, along with everything else. But now it's something else. So I don't think it's this big thing that the system can't handle. Because I think Nintendo Switch, as silly as it is to say, really, you don't think that it could have handled it? Nintendo 3DS could handle it. Not that it couldn't have handled it, but you saw how slow eShop got over the years. It wasn't like that day one in March of 2017. It was a snappier running eShop back then. But it's kind of like the internet. It's kind of like file sizes. Your old e-machines from 2005 that was 755 megahertz and whatever, like it was fine at the time. As the internet got bigger, it no longer was able to keep up. Your old iPhone that's perfectly capable from 6 years ago, it can't keep up nowadays because file sizes are bigger on the internet. All this other stuff. Anyways, my point is, I think it's less of a Nintendo Switch 2 can't handle it. I think it can. I think that it will come. These themes. It's just Nintendo wants to have a constant flow of new things coming to the system to talk about, to build up hype, to build up excitement. Now, whether Nash Weedle knows it, heard it, and it's from this same person potentially as the individual who told him about Pikmin 4 in Nintendo Switch 2 edition, I don't know, but I do believe that we will get themes sooner or later. So I don't necessarily think it's silly to say we have to wait, because I can see it from Nintendo's perspective of wanting to drip feed out more and more, so you're constantly getting something new throughout the gen. Especially if there's some kind of monetization behind it, like it's free, but there's a new coin system coming out that your platinum coins are going to be able to purchase for free, but for your gameplay, your achievement style, your trophy style is going to be how you unlock these backgrounds. Kind of a digital background for your wall, but it's for your Nintendo Switch. Maybe they will
pre-order bonuses. Or pre-order bonuses for new games.
I thought a really cool way to integrate the whole trophy collectathon achievement kind of thing would be a very Nintendo way of doing it. Would be, think back to Super Smash Bros. Melee for GameCube, where you had, before Amiibos came out, there were little Nintendo trophies that you could stack in a Triforce manner, in a vertical, horizontal columns and rows manner, and you had like different Nintendo consoles on your 3D shelf and stuff like that. You remember all that?
I loved it, yeah.
And that would be pretty sweet if you had a digital room and that was your background. That was how you unlocked little things of games, and that was your physical amiibo, your physical gift. But what if Nintendo is taking a little bit longer for the background because it's tied to something that's a little bit more playful? It is its own app, and in the app, from you could browse your digital game room or whatever with your Mii or walking around or something like that, and you're scrolling through like a museum. You're walking around like Animal Crossing, right? You're walking around the museum and you pick it, and it takes it from that little mini game in this little app on the Nintendo Switch 2 called Art Room or something like that, and then that's where you drag it and drop it, and then you make a theme. Why go through all that trouble? Why couldn't you just drop a theme on it? Maybe it's a part of a bigger plan. So I'm trying to think the way Nintendo works. Some of it is as a fan. Some of it is as I have enough friends at Nintendo that I'm like, gosh, the company does try to operate in a little bit of a magical way with what they do, that they just do a little bit differently. And the last
You
topic
gave me a fun idea, Paul,
Mm.
just by tying it to an app. All they got to do is be like, "Hey, you can make custom themes through the brand new game Mario Paint 2." And it uses mouse mode, and you design, and you could apply them to your home space.
You never know. Something like that. It could be pretty cool. And then the last thing is July. In general,
Yes.
do I think it's going to happen? I didn't think that a June 1 was necessary, or that was necessarily going to happen, because we got so much in such a small window. We had a Nintendo Direct in March. We had a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct in April. We had experiences around the world throughout April and May. We had the opening of a San Francisco store, the opening of a brand new Nintendo News app, the opening of a Donkey Kong section coming to Florida and Japan and stuff like that with the theme parks. We got Zelda movie announcement. We had an independent Donkey Kong Direct. We had a Nintendo Switch 2 console come out. All this stuff in this little window of time that cool factor wise, talking wise, Nintendo is making the mainstream. They're everywhere right now. They don't need a Direct to still be in the public's eye. Do as much as you can with what you can with what you have, which is what the Nintendo Switch 2, with getting it out there to as many people as possible, with allowing the games to sell, because there are a certain amount of people that will not buy what's out there now because they see what's out there in 3 months, and they will hold off on their current purchase because they have a limited budget and they see, oh, that's coming out next. That looks cooler than what's out now. So by not giving telling everything right away, it gives a little bit of peace and calm to certain people to buy what's out now. Now, some of us might play more. Some of us might want the next big thing because we're excited. Nintendo will do it. However, I didn't think that meant they would necessarily wait until September, because that did seem a little long, just because Metroid Prime 4 Beyond does deserve a couple of months, in my opinion, of a release date countdown. Not just my own countdown, but just a countdown in general for people to rally behind the game, especially if they're going to do a Metroid Prime 2 or 3. You got to find a little bit of a window in it. That's, assuming that's going to happen, you know what I mean? But Kirby Air Riders and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, these are some of the titles that still need release dates. It would be nice to have a look at Mario. Give me a Super Mario Galaxy 2 remastered / Super Mario 3D Land HD 2-in-1 bundle, and call it Super Mario 3D All-Stars 2, released this September or something like that, and then a little tease of the next big Mario game to come out within the calendar year of the 40th anniversary, before September 2026, which lines up nicely following the Mario movie sequel by a few months next year also. You know what I mean? But they don't need it yet. They could wait until July. And I think that now that we're in the month, I'm looking at July 22nd is Pokemon Presents. I don't think it's going to happen that week. July 17th is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't know if Nintendo would want to distract from the release of their own game with, here's what's coming out in a couple of months. Because then you look into that whole, do I buy DK or do I wait for this Zelda game that looks cooler? You don't have to worry about that too much, but there is a percentage of people that will operate that way in their thought process. So you got to be very careful with when you launch something. So then you had the last month, the last week, and you're looking at, I don't know, the 29th or 30th. Then again, this is a different Nintendo. Nintendo's always been a different Nintendo, though, like they've always been different. They're just operating at a little bit more of a level of difference than we're used to, which is making them even more difficult to predict than normal. So if anybody says there's no way, it's impossible, Nintendo can't drop a Direct on the same week as Donkey Kong Bonanza, just because it hasn't happened a whole bunch of times where they release a Direct alongside a brand new big game doesn't mean they have never or that they can't. So I'm still on the fence of, I think a July will happen, just because you still have a few important games that we don't know the dates of that probably deserve it. And it would be nice to see a little glimpse into the future beyond. Gosh, what's the latest thing that we know about going into 2026? Well, Pokemon, that's 2025. Do we have a 2026 Nintendo Switch 2 game?
No.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Pokemon,
technically, Bloods,
Splatoon
but
Raiders, possibly, right? I guess.
we have no Switch 2 exclusive release dates after Donkey Kong or games for
Well,
that
Dust Bloods.
matter.
There we go. Yeah,
With release dates.
Dust Bloods is 2026. That was the one that I was
Yes.
thinking of that has a calendar of next year, and Splatoon Raiders, no year associated with it yet. But like you said, like after Bonanza, that's it when it comes to dates. So I think that hopefully answered all of it. I think that we'll still get one in July, or Nintendo sees that, hey, we're doing just fine. We're just gonna do a shadow drop on X of here's a brand new trailer for Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Let's go. And by the way, release date of 4. Boom. And they just do it on Twitter, on X, on their Nintendo app, on YouTube, and that's it. It's a little bit less fun. It's more exciting, I think, rallying behind the 42-minute Nintendo Direct, waking up that morning, planning a stream, going live, having the reactions. But if I'm Nintendo and I'm wanting to monopolize everybody's mind space in the video game industry so that everyone is always talking about me, I'm pacing myself like boom, a drop, boom, a drop, boom, a drop, boom, a drop, boom. So everyone is always talking. You go too front loaded, then people are like, when's the next thing? Well, this is the next thing. We're giving it a couple of months in between. So yeah, I'm probably gonna roll soon, by the way. But I'm glad that I was here for that part. I don't think I'm gonna be able to hang on much more.
No worries. I'm getting gungry anyways, so I mean hungry.
I need a cheeseburger.
But
you know?
God.
yeah. So what's interesting is for this one, I feel like Stash and I have been on the same page a lot lately because I've been of the belief. What?
What? You're just becoming best friends with everyone. That's all. AVS, now Stash.
I know. It just comes easy to me.
I gotta stop. I was about to go somewhere that I couldn't come back from, so I'm gonna stop.
Sheesh. No, but I feel like him and I have been seeing eye to eye a lot, and coming from the same perspective. I'm definitely of the belief that I'll wait.
What? I wasn't interrupting you.
No, but I can't.
Here, will this help you? There we go.
That's much better. Yes, thank you.
No distraction.
No, I've been of the belief that there's going to be a July Direct. I think it's both important and necessary to happen. I don't think Nintendo can wait till September. That being said, I don't think we should be all fiending over it and freaking out, but it wouldn't make sense to skip out on this. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza dropping this month. Then we have no release dates for any other Switch 2 exclusives this year or beyond. We have announcements. We've got Splatoon Raiders, which was announced, Hyrule Warriors, the new one that was announced, and Dust Bloods. That game's 2026. Obviously, Dragon Drive is coming out. I'm not counting that as like a full Switch 2 because it's a $20 game. It's not like a big one. Kirby Air Riders is supposed to come out this year. Again, has no release date. We need those release dates. On top of that, Nintendo hasn't announced their big holiday game for this year. Do they not have a holiday game this year? I find that a little bit hard to believe. And what do we typically know about holiday games? They're usually the biggest game of the year, the most important release of the year. I think it would be a safe bet to assume that whatever Nintendo's November game is bigger than Mario Kart World and bigger than Donkey Kong Bonanza. Right? Is that a safe assumption? I mean, it is possible that they don't have anything bigger than that since it hasn't been announced yet. But I also wouldn't put it against Nintendo to announce their holiday game in the September Direct just a couple months before the holiday, considering they do massive Twitter drops and Nintendo Today drops. They do whatever they want.
Sorry.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I'm very conflicted on Metroid Prime 4. And I've thought about this a lot. And guys watching, this has been the most interesting question to me since the reveal of launch. It's why I did my recent video on my channel collaborating with Thunderstash, Sumbro Nation, Nintendo Prime, and Rob from Rule of Two Review. If you guys are interested, definitely check it out because everyone had some really interesting predictions for what Nintendo's cooking this holiday. But I find it a really interesting question because this is the first time we've gotten this close to the holiday without knowing what the holiday game is for a Nintendo console. It's wild. And so when I think about Metroid Prime 4, well, the game typically isn't a system seller. You know, it's not a game that hits 10 million copies sold. It's never happened for the series. But what if they do a bundle? What if it's a themed bundle and you're getting Switch 2 edition for $50 like you got Mario Kart World for, and you're getting a cool Samus or Metroid themed console? Then that's an incentive for people on the holiday who maybe would never go out and buy a Metroid game because they don't know about it or they don't care about it, to get a console with a game at a deal and get the opportunity to discover a critically acclaimed series. I think that's an opportunity to bring Metroid Prime 4 into a more mainstream audience. At the same time, it doesn't have the pull, that big mainstream pull like a Mario or Zelda or an Animal Crossing or even probably a Splatoon game. Even rumors of a Mario Galaxy 2 remaster, that's a big deal. Now, if this was a remake, a beautiful, stunning remake from the ground up, that is holiday game material right there. But if it's just a fresh coat of paint, and granted, the Metroid Prime remaster is gorgeous, so I'm not knocking a very talented fresh coat of paint. That goes a long way. But I'm just curious for the big holiday game. When I think of Metroid Prime 4, it is a Switch game. It's getting a Switch 2 edition. Pokemon Legends ZA, that is a Switch 1 game that's getting a Switch 2 edition. Does Nintendo default their holiday game to a Switch 2 edition? Or do we actually get a Switch 2 exclusive this holiday? It's a fascinating question that I think Nintendo could tackle multiple ways. Obviously, I think the Switch is more capable than anything we've seen first party for the system so far. So it's totally possible that they've got big stuff cooking that's just not going to be ready by this holiday. Totally possible. But it's just an interesting thing to speculate about. And we already know we have tons of games that need release dates, and we need new third-party announcements. I don't think they could pack all of that into September. I think a July Direct is inevitable. I've believed this for a long time. I know Stash, you're on the same page. Let's knock the obvious one out of the way. Switch 2 editions, enhancements. Pikmin 4 makes a lot of sense. This one isn't really a surprise, rumor, leak, whatever from Nash. I think this is something that a lot of us have expected. I mean, Stashman multiple times speaking about Mario Wonder, speaking about Smash Ultimate. These are just things that I think we expect to see more of going forward. And hopefully the more surprising announcements would be free NSO upgrades. If you're the expansion pack subscriber, I think that's the more interesting question because I'd like to see that. I think that's a great incentive, especially around the holiday time. Lastly, themes, Nate's favorite subject. I know Nate and I agreed a lot on themes last time we discussed it here on the show. We had a very happy discussion where we agreed for many, many moments. I said it last time. I don't remember if you were on the same page, Stash, so you could clarify. I think you were on the same page as me, that you agreed that you still think that themes might be coming to Switch too.
Yes.
I'm still in that boat. I think it's totally possible. Nate, yes, I think for any other company, up to 2 years away potentially would be a red flag. With Nintendo, that's not a red flag at all. That just sounds like classic weird Nintendo business to me. Like legit. I feel like with Switch 1, and it's been, my memory's fuzzy, it's been a while. I feel like a lot of the stuff regarding like NSO features and like the phone app was like super delayed and staggered and announced too early and didn't come out till way after. Like it just seems like such a Nintendo thing to go like, yeah, we'll do things, but we're gonna wait a couple hours, even though we could probably knock this out like yesterday. Nintendo's a very weird company that does a lot of awesome things, but also makes a lot of weird, oddball, and sometimes questionable business decisions. Sometimes it completely works for them. I see what Paul's saying, though, that like it could be a drip feed more thing, like don't give them everything at once. Have that carrot on the stick. More announcements to look forward to coming soon. New exciting things. And I know you don't care about themes, Nate. I will say this. Even if I'm in the menus momentarily, which sometimes I'm not, sometimes I step away from my console, and hearing those little jingles or seeing those little menus is just it's just a fun little novelty. When we lost those special openings, those anniversary openings on the PS5, I was saddened. I missed them very much. It's a little thing that's meaningless once you get into the game, but it's just one of those one of those things that just makes me happy to be a gamer. And any way that I can incorporate nostalgia. Listen, there's so many game themes I would love to see, but honestly, give me a SNES theme or a Super Famicom theme or an NES. Give me some of that cool retro stuff, like the color coordination and even sound effects, GameCube and stuff. I am there for it. It's just a nice little touch that just makes me, helps bring a smile to your face. Even if only the first handful of times booting it up with that new theme. And then, the excitement around unlocking new themes with points or achievement system or however they incorporate it. But that's my 2 cents. Any objections?
No.
Nate,
I think it checks out.
I feel like Nate wants to.
I got nothing, man.
All right. Eric, you look like you have a lot on your mind right now.
Nope. My brain has flatlined about an hour and a half ago.
He's on live support right now. Well, that's my topic then, folks.